There are 7.6 million job openings in the United States right now. That number was released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics just weeks ago, and it made headlines everywhere. Financial news, career sites, LinkedIn, everyone shared it. Everyone celebrated it. 7.6 million openings. What a time to be looking for work. Except in the same report, buried 3 paragraphs down where nobody was looking, was another number, 5.1 million. That is how many people actually got hired that month. Not 7.6 million, 5.1 million. Read that again. More jobs got posted. Fewer people got hired in the same month at the same time. That gap, 2.5 million positions that existed on a screen somewhere and nowhere else, is the most important number in the American job market right now. And almost nobody is talking about it. Almost nobody is explaining what it actually means for you sitting in front of your laptop, refreshing job boards, submitting applications, waiting for a response that never comes. Almost nobody is telling you the truth about what is actually happening. I'm going to tell you the truth today.
Welcome to the Bob Nevin Careers Channel. We're happy to have you here. Get ready to learn something new. Let's do this.
Hello, my name is Bob Nevin, and I have spent 30 years as a recruiter in the corrugated and packaging industry. I have watched job markets expand and contract and freeze and thaw. I have seen what works and what does not work from both sides of the hiring table. And what is happening right now in the American job market is something I've never quite seen like this before. It has a name. Economists call it the low hire, low fire market. I call it the frozen job market trap. And if you do not understand exactly how it works, it's going to cost you months, maybe years of your career. Let us start with what the frozen job market actually is and why it is so deceptive. In a healthy job market, openings and hires move together. Companies post positions because they need people. They need people because business is growing. Business is growing because the economy is expanding. The whole system has momentum. Openings go up, hires go up with them. Workers feel confident enough to quit for better opportunities. That creates more openings, and the cycle feeds itself. What is happening right now is the opposite. And it's dangerous precisely because it does not look dangerous from the outside. That's the trap. The headline number, 7.6 million openings, sounds incredible. It beats analysts' expectations by almost a million. It is the highest number since May of 2024. If you are just reading the headline, you would think that the job market is roaring. But here is what is actually happening inside that number. Companies are posting positions they have no urgent intention of filling. They are posting to maintain visibility. They are posting to build pipelines for future needs. They are posting because HR policy requires them to post before they can promote someone internally who is already lined up for the role, or, depending on the company, the exact opposite. They are posting because it looks good to investors and boards to signal growth, even when growth is not actually happening yet. They're posting ghost jobs, positions that exist on a screen and nowhere else. We've talked about this before. The hires per posting ratio tells the whole story. In 2019, before the pandemic, companies hired roughly 8 people for every 10 positions they posted. By 2024, that ratio has dropped to 4 hires per 10 postings. It is roughly halved, and in April 2026, openings surged by 731,000 while hires dropped by 419,000 in the same month. The two lines are moving in opposite direction. and that almost never happens in a healthy market. What this means for you is brutal in its simplicity. The job board is not lying to you about how many positions exist. It is lying to you about how many of those positions are actually available to you. Half the listings you are applying to were never going to result in a hire. Nobody is coming back to review your resume. Nobody is going to call. The position will quietly disappear from the board in 30 days or less and reappear in 60, reset, refreshed, and just as empty as before. And here's the cruelest part. The quits rate. The percentage of workers voluntarily leaving their jobs has fallen to 1.9%, the lowest in years. What that tells us is that the people who already have jobs are not leaving them. They do not trust that something better is out there, so they stay. And when they stay, there are no backfill openings. And when there are no backfill openings, the openings that do exist attract enormous competition from both unemployed job seekers and employed workers who are desperate to move. Are you confused yet? I am. And I'm the recruiter. But anyways, if you look at it, it is actually kind of easy to understand. In a genuinely hot market, workers leave for better offers. That movement creates real openings that need to be filled fast. Right now, workers are just staying put, which means real openings are scarce, which also means competition for those real openings is brutal, which also means you are not imagining it when it feels like you are applying into the void. You are applying into a void because most of what you are applying to is a void. Now, here's where the corrugated and packaging industry becomes the most important thing I'm going to say in this entire video. The frozen job market is not frozen everywhere. It is frozen in predictable places: technology, finance, entry-level corporate roles, anywhere that AI-driven automation is reshaping the headcount, anywhere that pandemic-era overexpansion created a hangover that companies are still working off. Those markets are frozen solid. But physical industries, skilled manufacturing, essential production, material handling, those markets are not frozen. They're actually moving. And the corrugated and packaging industry specifically is expanding at nearly 4% annually, with a projected market value approaching $300 billion. Yes, with a B. $300 billion. E-commerce is not slowing down. Every product that ships needs a box. Every box needs someone who knows how to run the machine that makes it, manage the team on the floor, drive throughput, reduce scrap, and keep the line moving. That is not a frozen market. That is a market with real openings that need real people who have real skills. And because the general market feels so difficult right now, a lot of people with exactly those skills are sitting at their kitchen tables applying to ghost jobs on Indeed instead of picking up the phone and calling a recruiter like me who actually knows where the real openings are. Let me tell you what a recruiter who specializes in your industry actually does differently in a frozen market. In a hot market, a recruiter's job is relatively straightforward. Match the candidate to the opening, move fast, close the deal. That market does a lot of the work. In a frozen market, the recruiter's job is completely different. A good niche recruiter in a frozen market is not just matching you to posted positions. They are working the hidden market. They are having conversations with hiring managers at companies that are not posting yet, but are about to. They are identifying the difference between a ghost job and a real opening before you waste 3 weeks tailoring your resume and waiting for a response. They know which companies are quietly growing, which ones are about to restructure, which ones who just lost a key person and needs to move fast before the production line feels the impact. That intelligence does not appear on a job board. It exists in relationships and conversations built over years, in conversations that happen before the posting goes live, in the part of the market, the 80%, that never appears on a screen at all. In a frozen market, the difference between a job seeker who works alone and a job seeker who works with the right recruiter is not incremental. It is the difference between spending 8 months applying to positions that were never going to result in a call and spending 8 weeks in a focused, targeted search that results in a real offer at a real company at a real market compensation level. Do not do this alone. Not in this market. Not when the market is wearing a costume that looks like opportunity but functions like quicksand. Not when half the listings you are looking at were never meant for you. Here's what I want you to do right now. Stop treating the job board as the job market. It is not. It is a fraction of the market dressed up to look like the whole thing. Start treating your recruiter relationship as the most valuable career asset you have in a low hire, low fire environment, because right now it is. Thank you. And if you like this type of content, please click subscribe, smash that like button, and share this video with everybody you know. The more truth we send out there and share, the better for everyone. Now, before I go, I promised you a value-added bomb, and here it is. While you are out there navigating a frozen market, we have a real opening right now in the corrugated and packaging industry, a real role at a real company paying real market compensation for the right qualified candidate. Please note, this role may be taken down at any minute depending on how many applicants there are and if they hire someone. So here it is.
We're looking at a corrugated packaging sales representative position for a major global organization. And let me tell you, this is definitely not your average desk job. We're going to break down the exact requirements, the day-to-day expectations, and honestly, the massive upside of this role. So let's dive right in and see what makes this position stand out so much in the competitive manufacturing space. Okay, I want to start right here because this number grabs your attention for a very good reason. $130,000. That is the top end of the base salary range for this position. Right out of the gate, you know this explainer is about a role with serious financial backing and massive upside. This organization is willing to invest heavily in the right talent. But, with high reward comes high expectations, and to understand how you actually get to that number, we need to talk about the fundamental nature of this job. The source material emphasizes in absolutely no uncertain terms that this is a true hunter role. If you're an account manager who's kind of looking to coast on a comfortable, pre-existing list of warm clients, yeah, this is not the role for you. This position requires extreme self-motivation. It takes a resilient mindset and a relentless ability to just chase down new business. To put it simply, you aren't farming here, you're hunting. And that brings us to the concept of zero accounts, which is absolutely critical to understand. You are walking into this role with a completely blank slate. You are tasked with building a brand new book of business from the ground up. Now, don't look at this starting from zero thing as a negative. For a highly motivated sales professional, this is the ultimate challenge. It's untouched, wide open territory. Your whole objective is to generate the sales that will directly expand the client's plant production capacity. You're literally the tip of the spear for their growth in this region. So what does this actually look like day to day? Well, step 1, you prospect and you cold call. That is the hunter mentality in full effect. Step 2, you get in front of the customer and you consult deeply on their specific packaging needs. You aren't just pushing a box, you are actively solving their supply chain problems. And step 3, by securing these new business wins, you directly drive and expand the plant's overall production capacity. Your daily grit on the phone and out in the field literally correlates to the manufacturing output of the facility. Now, where are your hunting grounds? Your designated territory is the Northeast. We're talking upstate New York and the surrounding areas, specifically pushing heavily into Vermont and New Hampshire. So you might be grabbing coffee in upstate New York in the morning, crossing over into Vermont by lunch, and wrapping up your afternoon in New Hampshire. The client is actually incredibly flexible on where you live, as long as you can comfortably service this Northeast territory within a roughly 3-hour travel radius every single day. Which brings us to a non-negotiable metric, 50%. You're going to be spending 50% or more of your time traveling within this territory. This is a field role through and through. You've got to be highly disciplined, action-oriented, and totally comfortable working independently out on the road. Your car is basically going to be your mobile office. So, get your favorite explainers and audiobooks queued up because your success really depends on your ability to manage your territory efficiently while you're constantly on the move. Let's look at the baseline prerequisites to even get an interview for this. You need at least 2 years of solid business-to-business sales experience. They want to see a proven track record of actually opening new accounts and handling tough negotiations with supply chain decision makers. Because of all that travel we just talked about, a valid driver's license is obviously a must. And finally, they're looking for a bachelor's degree or equivalent professional work experience. But hold on, because these are really just the foundational requirements. Here is the absolute deal breaker. I need to shift my tone here and be super firm for a second, because the source material is explicitly clear. Direct experience in the corrugated box and packaging industry is strictly required. There are 0 exceptions to this rule. You can't just be a great salesperson from the software world or medical devices. You must know the corrugated industry inside and out before you even apply. And why are they so uncompromising about that industry experience? Because of the product expertise you're going to need from day one. You have to be able to immediately sit down with a client and authoritatively consult on complex packaging solutions. We are talking about finished corrugated packaging, the intricacies of flexos, and the exact specifics of die cutters. You just can't fake this knowledge. And frankly, you won't have time to learn it on the job while you're simultaneously trying to build a book of business from scratch. Okay, let's circle back and talk about the money in a bit more detail. You have a highly secure base salary ranging from $75,000 up to that $130,000 mark we started with, which is completely commensurate with your incoming experience. The average total target compensation sits around $100,000 plus annually for a standard performer. But clearly, if you are commanding that top-tier base and you're crushing it out in the field, your expected total earnings scale dramatically higher through their variable commission plan. Now, I know exactly what you might be thinking right now. If I am starting from absolute zero, how on earth do I survive on commission in those early months, right? Well, the client thought of that. They provide a commission guarantee structure. This is a vital financial safety net to protect your income during that initial critical ramp-up phase. They know it takes time to plant seeds and harvest new business, so they're putting their money where their mouth is to support you while you build that book. And beyond just the salary and commission, the total rewards package here is remarkably comprehensive. You've got your standard top-tier health coverages, medical, dental, vision, life insurance. But look at the financial support. A 401k that actually features company-funded retirement contributions. Plus, they offer student loan repayment assistance and even tuition reimbursement. That student loan repayment, that's a huge, highly sought-after benefit right now. They're heavily invested in relieving financial pressure so you can focus entirely on what you do best. It definitely doesn't stop at just financial benefits either. It's really about the long-term career trajectory. This challenging hunter role is a gateway. It opens doors to extensive sales and leadership training, which paves the way for promotional opportunities within a massive global organization. They genuinely pride themselves on promoting an inclusive, safe, and caring workplace culture. They even offer voluntary perks like home, auto, and get this, pet insurance. It's just a remarkably holistic approach to employee well-being that perfectly balances out that intense daily grind. So, we arrive at the ultimate question. I really want you to think about this based on everything we've just covered. Do you have the strictly required corrugated industry experience, and do you possess the sheer grit and hunter mentality to build a massive book of business from absolutely zero? If the answer is yes, this high-paced role in the Northeast Territory might just be the exact blank slate you've been looking for to maximize your earning potential.
Thanks for watching. Please remember to smash that like button, subscribe and turn notifications on and share with everyone you know. Also leave a comment down below. Say hi or ask a question. Again, thanks for watching and see you in our next video. Cheers!